Welcome back to Values in Action. We're here with the Marous brothers, and we want to talk a little bit more about where your values come from. You know, what preceded this home makeover transformation that you have gone through. And I just want to preface it with one statement. Your industry is not known particularly for kindness. I've known a lot of construction people,
industry.
and you know, every other word is the F word, and not necessarily known as being touchy-feely people. How are you guys different?
I think it started with our parents. Our parents, the way we were brought up, our ethics, our morals. As kids, our parents showed us a lot of love, our faith. That was a big driving.
Yeah, we didn't come from much. We had, three brothers and three sisters, big family. A family unit was very important to us and them. And I think that what really gave us our morals and values and our beliefs.
Yeah, but then there are very good parents, and they are moral people, and they are actually pillars of the society. And then you see their children. They completely go away from those value systems.
Yeah.
So what was so unique about you guys?
I think the family unit, though, I think we play off each other a lot. We help each other out. We're always kicking things around together as a team, as a unit. I think, that support system. Maybe it's a support system that we've had.
It's the trust, too.
It's
the
a trust
between us. And it's also the way we brought up our kids, too. I mean, we brought up our kids the same way that we were brought up, too. So I think in instilling those family morals in our kids, too, also has us, practice that on a daily basis, what our parents also taught us.
But you need to, it's also very important to challenge each other. And that's what I think we do all the time. We challenge ourselves in business, but we also challenge each other how we conduct ourselves in our daily lives.
Now, there's a bigger question. We all know that value system is the key to our growth of society, the key for all of us to be inclusive. But how do we bring these value system into a society where they did not have the parents? Is there a clue, or is there a method?
I think you have to show by example. I think, you have to show in your daily life, every single day you have to go out there and you have to show, what your morals are, what your family is. And I think you have to just show by example. Yes.
So in other words, somebody that is a negative person can be kicked over by 3 positive leaders or 2 other positive leaders who are on their team. They can challenge each other the same way that the 3 of you challenge one another.
Absolutely.
But what do you do about the kind person who maybe is part of a negative environment? Maybe they're part of a company or a school or a family that has a negative culture. How do we help that individual? And where do they turn?
I mean, that's really a great question, because people do get caught in some very negative spots. I mean, and there are some great people get caught up into some very difficult situations. And I don't know if I've got a great answer. I don't know if I have any answer for that. All I can say is, at the end of the day, everybody has to look in the mirror. And, at the end of the day, you're going to meet your maker, and you got to make sure that you can go up there and say that you ran your life the best you can. So that's. But how you get to those people.
But let's take an example. Let's take a look at your industry, and certainly not your company, but your industry. How is it possible that of the political scandals that we've had in our community, that there are so many construction-oriented businesses that are part of that political scandal? How's that possible? It's almost like a black brush on your entire industry.
Right. Well, you made a comment before about, construction workers not being the most patient. There's a reason for it. They're out there, they're getting paid, they need to make money. But, during the build, and I'm going to go back to an experience that I had, with 5,000 volunteers, and they were in and out of that building, and there was times you couldn't reach your arm out without hitting somebody. There was that many people around you. And not one time was there any fight, not one time anyone was raising voices to each other. I saw patients that were just unbelievable, especially for construction workers. So, I think the message was there, and what was going on during those 5 days. If you could experience it and been inside that house to watch construction workers work as closely with each other. That was a true example, a great example of how.
So is it positivity spreads positivity
Absolutely.
and negativity
It
spreads
does.
negativity?
Absolutely.
It started right with that.
It starts at the top, right here.
Yeah.
And that's what we do every day at in our office. You know, it always starts at the top. Discipline here means that we respect each other. So if we respect ourselves,
So how do we nurture this thing? Again, we have asked this question before. How do we nurture that and grow that in our community?
Well, I think showing by example. I think leaders, have to be leaders and making sure that they're living their lives every day by, showing examples. And I think it's important that, throughout.
So what can we do actually? I mean, this is a good suggestion, but can we actually take on something and do something which will propel this thought process in our community?
I think by showing by example, if through this process.
So how do we do that?
Live your life every day by doing an act of random kindness. Believe in it, making sure that first and foremost it makes you feel good as a person. In return, will make that person feel good, and hopefully that person will turn around because it makes them feel good. They'll go out and do an act of random kindness.
Create a chain reaction.
Chain reaction. Yeah. The ripple effect is so important in life, and I think it works. It works in our business because the way we are and the morals and values we have and treat our employees well, they turn around and treat the people within our organization, treat our clients well, and it's a trickle effect that happens every day in our company. And
Can I challenge you guys to come into the schools along with Project Love and repeat your experience and try to help us educate kids in the acts of kindness?
Sure.
Absolutely.
We'd be honored to do that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Ratanjit?
Well, we are very enlightened, and I think kindness does work, and we need to spread this message more. And
Absolutely.
thank you so much for.
I want to just add one more thing. I think that one thing that you said about leadership and living your life and being an example, we need more of those examples in Northeast Ohio where people are willing to step up and say, I'm going to be a public role model and I'm going to show how I'm living my life, because too many people live their lives behind the scenes. They're good people, we have a great community, but we need to all be out front and say we're going to be role models.
Right. Yep. And I think unfortunately too, I think at times people don't recognize when other people are doing kind things. So if everybody can just go out there and take notice when someone lets you in or lets another person in on traffic when it's jammed up or opening the door, take notice of that. Yes. And I think that's going to spread out that, people do kind things. And if you just take that kind of notice, you're going to conduct yourselves better too.
Well, leadership comes from leading yourself.
Right.
Yep.
And if we have our values lead us, then automatically our society falls into place. At this point, I'd like to thank you very much for coming on our show.
And we'll be back with our community representative, Barbara Marlow. Welcome back. We're here with Barbara Marlow, who's our community representative. She's with the law firm of Dworkin and Bernstein, Ohio Lawyers Give Back.
And Barbara, this was a great story, but these are big contractors. And after all said and done, some people may see this as the greatest advertising, although we see a lot of kindness in them. So how do we bottle this and spread this kindness into our community?
Well, not everybody has the resources a big construction company has, but we can certainly go out to our neighbors and help with cutting the grass or mending a fence or helping carry in groceries. There's a lot of little things that we can do throughout the day.
But we do the act of goodness on and off when it is convenient, but we never really become goodness itself.
No, we don't. And if you recall when 9/11 happened, people after that were very gracious and good to each other.
Yeah.
And then we all slipped back into our old ways again.
I think part of the thing that we have to do is institutionalize this. When Ratanjit says bottle it, we need for kindness to become as important to people as entrepreneurship. There's a big buzz about entrepreneurship because entrepreneurs are going to be providing jobs. But if we have jobs without kindness, we have a society that's a very shallow society. And so, just like the Marous brothers have made a commitment as leaders to be role models and push that value of kindness in society.
We need
other leaders to step up. And you know what? They're not stepping up.
Well,
they just are not.
I think 2 points I want to make real quickly. And one is, along with kindness comes patience, because I think people lose patience. So that, I think, needs to be addressed. But I think we should throw the gauntlet down here and say, you know what, some of these people that you've been interviewing and that we've been talking about, we need to follow up. See, are they practicing what they preach?
Are they walking
what
the
else
walk
has
and
been
talking the
going
talk?
on
Yes.
with them?
Yes.
I agree.
What has branched out with their employees, and how have they paid it forward? And what has somebody else done?
And you know what? We need to challenge, are you a fair weather, ethical person, or are you ethical when the chips are down as well? That's the ultimate challenge.
Or
It's
when
like,
the camera's on or off.
You know, are you going to go through the red light
Right.
at 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
Right.
But we have to make as a language of our living as kindness. Don't have to do acts of kindness. We have to become kindness itself.
Well, integral part of ourselves.
Yes.
Well, I think that, translates back to what I said before about being patient and just about taking a step back and putting yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Exactly. We need to do that. And please join us for continuing the discussion on Facebook, on Twitter, at Values Action. Thanks, Barbara.
Pleasure.
And join us next week on Values in Action. Thank you.